Hey everybody, it's Casual Boops coming at you with another video, and today we're going to do the review of the Bofors Tornvagn. Tornvagn. I'm totally messing up the pronunciation. Tornvagn. It is the brand new Tier 8 Swedish heavy tank that is in the loot boxes. And right off the bat, I'm going to say, do I think the tank is good? It is extremely situational, and if you find yourself in the situations that this thing likes, then yes, it can be very good. In virtually every other situation, it is complete fucking garbage, and I did not enjoy the time that I played in it. So we'll just, without further ado, get into the actual stats and tell you more about it and stuff. So, the good stuff. I was trying to figure out pronunciation and what this actually translates to, and apparently Tornvagn is just Tornvagn. So, okay. Anyways, okay. So the good stuff and the bad stuff. The good stuff. The penetration, 248 standard round penetration on the standard APCR round is good, and the 1,000 meters per second shell velocity is also very good. 400 damage is average. Is fine. This is fine. Let's see, what are the things that are good about this tank? 10 degrees of gun depression is also very nice. The crew layout matches the tier 8, 9, and 10 Swedish tech tree tanks, so that's nice for as long as that matters. Something crew 2.0. And that's, as far as these stats, they are really what this tank is all about. Is it gives up a lot, and I'm about to just tell you about all the bad stuff about this tank. But what it does is it gives up a lot for the armor that it has, and I'll show you that in a second. But like, understand, there's a whole lot of bad about this tank, but you're gonna say, why would anyone play this? And I'll show you why later. So, okay, the DPM is god awful. Oh my god, it felt like I had to wait for an eternity and a day to shoot, because it is like 14 and a half second base reload for 400 damage. Just does not, and you'll feel that in the replay. It just seems like it takes forever. 0.42 dispersion is just so, like, I didn't feel like I had a really great way of putting the shots where I wanted. You really had to let the gun lay in. The dispersion factors on the move and so on, these were average, but like the turret dispersion, turret traverse dispersion, the bloom when you move the turret back and forth is huge. And so this felt really bad. It felt like the gun was extremely derpy. This is probably the most important. Well, I won't say that, but it is an important stat, and it's very large. Like, after you get the equipment on there, this turret traverse speed was like as bad as like that new French tank, the AP AMX prototype, without any equipment. But I will say it's the next thing we're gonna go to is it's very slow. But that actually works in the gun's favor, because we talked about this on previous videos, where these dispersion factors are factored into the speed. So because it is so god awful slow, that actually helps the gun behave, right? And if if you're not swinging the gun around back and forth and stuff, because you are creeping up this hill as slow as possible, then the gun behaves a little bit more. So like, I'm not going to say that I enjoyed the dispersion, the final dispersion and so on. Like, it definitely doesn't feel like a super accurate gun, but I found the gun in the AP AMX 30, for instance, to be a little more frustrating than this one, with regards to like the dispersion, the turret bloom and stuff. But yes, the speed is very slow. 32 top speed is very slow, and it didn't feel like I would get there occasionally, but also like, because the engine power is the power to weight is like 11.6 power to weight, with terrain resistances that are okay, but not awesome. Now, just as a comparison, just to compare for you, this compares. Okay, same power to weight as a Löwe, similar terrain resistances to the Löwe. So, if you think the Löwe is too slow to be fun to play, you are not going to like this tank, because they are about the same speed, except the Löwe goes 35, and the Tornvagn goes 32, topped out at 32. So like, it's hard to just, like, you'll see it in the replay, but like, it is very, very slow. The health being 1600 is, I guess, around average, right? So the Löwe has 1650, this has 1600, fine. Let me see here. I mean, the view range is really bad. 360 is not great at all. Like, and you don't really have you don't really have the ability to put on equipment that you might want to make your view range better. So there's not really anything to do about this, right? It sacrifices, this is what I'm saying, it sacrifices speed, sacrifices DPM, sacrifices accuracy and final accuracy, it sacrifices view range, it sacrifices all these things so that it can get 10 degrees of gun depression and the armor. So now we're going to flip to the armor. This is the tank. If you haven't seen it, this is the armor model of the tank. Looks like this. It looks like this. It's like a turret on tracks, right? And so you're like, wow, that must be really great. And like, okay, so this is the situation. If you're like, can you side scrape in it? Not really, because you have this engine deck. Oh, okay, so like, let me go back to the visual. So the engine deck, you see, has a little lip here in the back, similar to the Concept 1B, has this same kind of lip, right? That's very weak. So if you're trying to side scrape and someone knows about this, they're going to shoot you there and they're going to pen. It's also a very low tank to the ground, and because of that, and because the engine deck itself is only 30 millimeters thick, and actually the back engine deck is only 25 millimeters thick. You see that. What that means is that it's very easy to overmatch, right? So if something has 91 caliber gun or higher, for this engine deck part that's 25, so 3 times that is 75. So any 76 millimeter gun is going to overmatch this engine deck. So like, if anybody's taller than you, which most things are going to be because this thing is very low to the ground, and they're looking down at you at all, they know they can just pen you here when you're trying to side scrape. So basically, side scraping is a no-go, right? It's got this little cupola thing that has these weird funky angles, right? But it's not really reliable because you have the same problems over here. So you can't really... part of the reason I made this video titled what it is because literally this tank likes to do one thing and one thing only, and that's use hills to look down at you with gun depression, because this armor on the front, this little beak of the armor of the frontal hull, and this really angled part and this turret face are pretty well angled. So if you're using gun depression and you're poking over a ridge and like this is all you can't see anything except this part and this part, there's not really anything anyone can do about this. You know, like this is really not cool. Like this is the situation where you see one of these things in this situation, you just like, I don't know, go do something else, go somewhere else, make this tank go to a different position that's less advantageous, because when it's able to use its gun depression and look down at you like this, you're looking at effective armor that's like 300, 400, you know, 280. You're just going to shoot at the turret face, or this is like 260. So tier 8s got no chance. Tier 6s and 7s got no chance. Some tier 9s can tap 2 and get through this. And tier 10s, you know, they can tap 2 and get through this too. But the biggest thing is, it's very small. You have to hit the thing. You have to hit the actual thing, the actual turret itself, and not the gun or anything else. So like, this is why you play this tank. You give up the speed, the DPM, the accuracy, the view range, the everything, so that you can look down at people and poop on them. That's what this thing does. This is the only thing this tank does well. If you're trying to do something else in this tank, you're going to have a bad time. If you try to do this by yourself, you're going to get run over because your DPM is so low. So it's just that's what it does. This is the only thing this tank is good for. If Artie decides to take interest in you, which they probably will, because if you're on a hillside and you're just doing this whole thing, you're going to be priority number 1. They're going to make it rain and you're going to have a bad day. So I guess try to play Artie safe as much as you possibly can. Lol in this game. But yes, hull down is where you live. Yeah, so that's the armor model. Okay, so how I had this thing kitted out, field mod-wise, field mods and equipment. Obviously, you're going to take the all-terrain suspension every time, always. I always took the trying to make the accuracy better, right? The final dispersion better, because aim time doesn't matter, really. I'll try to make the view range as good as it could possibly be. I don't know. And I had some food, and I try-harded with this a little bit, and I had a really good crew. And I actually was playing with my sheriff account because I wanted to make sure that I had enough. I wanted to make sure that you guys got to see what this thing was capable of. So I specifically picked the best case scenario, the best map, the best situation. Everything about it was the best. so that you guys could see what the thing was actually capable of doing. And so I had it set up like this, with a purple V-stab and a purple rammer and food and the whole 9 yards and a crew that had everything, because I wanted you guys to see what this thing could possibly do. But I will admit to you, this is what I'm about to show. The the replay is like a best case scenario, and I don't always like to show that. But literally, if you're not in the best case scenario, the thing is absolute garbage. So I will show you, like, this is the equipment I would load, that I would use, because the reverse speed, like, you really need to go from 12 to 15 doesn't feel like a lot, but there's a few times in this game where I definitely would have gotten shot a few times, would have taken some hits trying to back down off the ridge if I hadn't been able to back down as quickly as I could. And the 37, like, it just needs this speed to be playable at all, to go anywhere. And you'll notice in this replay that I'm not going to really be relocating a whole lot. I pretty much just pick one position and I stay there. Because relocating is pain, right? And then we're trying to make the DPM better, and of course we're trying to quiet down the gun and make the accuracy as good as we can. So this is the equipment that I would recommend. Obviously, if you don't have the purple, that's fine. But just note again, this is like, I'm trying really hard to make up for the drawbacks of this tank, because they are many. There are many drawbacks. So this is the let's see. I've got equipment. I've got armor. I think I've covered it all. So let's get into the replay. All right, so we're going to be watching me play my sheriff account with the Tornvagn. We're playing on Westfield because I specifically chose this map with the map picker because I wanted to show you guys this is like the best case scenario, the best map I could think of to play with this tank. Because again, if you're not hulled down in this tank, you're having a bad time. You're not doing it right. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've spammed a lot of gold in this game because I was very frustrated up to this point. I haven't had a lot of great games in this thing. I don't really particularly care for the tank. Because again, it's a one-trick pony. You have one choice of your playstyle with this thing, and if you miss shots, it feels really bad. So I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys some good stuff. So I spammed a lot of APCR in this game, so, you know, if that offends you, I'm sorry in advance. But yeah, we got the side of this Moushin, and we're reloading. Oh my god. Oh my god. We just missed the guy. And you'll see how the turret blooms. I can't put the shell into that Moushin's turret, his cupola, because it's, I don't know, I just don't have the accuracy. And now we're loading again, and like, it just feels like I'm trying to hit the cheeks of this Moushin, and you'll notice this Moushin, like, they're not fast, it's a super heavy. And yet, I still... Oh, God. Okay. Krevzlowski wants to shoot the new tank. And I rushed that shot. That was a bad shot by me. But that, like, the point is, every single one of these rounds, if you're not just hitting it just perfectly, you have to just wait for what feels like forever. And he escapes again. And this is the experience that I had with this tank a lot, where its reload is just long enough that I just didn't feel like I could get that second shot in ever. And it's very frustrating. You seeing the turret bloom as I move the turret back and forth. And accuracy, I must have hit it in the mantlet or something like that. But you're seeing the turret bloom. And again, this is with purple V-stab. So this is literally as good as that can possibly get. And yeah, so we're able to finally put one into the cheeks of the Moushin. And you know, the T-30 is shooting, looks like he's using, I think, the small gun. And he's just decided at this point, I think, to load... Yeah, they're loading APCR. They can't do anything, though, because all they can see is this tiny turret poking over top of the hill. So if you're doing this, you're doing it right. And, like, this is the one thing that this tank does well, which is... I'm going to wait for my shot, I'm going to take the shot, and we're going to back up. We're going to back up, back, because I didn't want these... Okay, so they're pushing now. Looks like yep, they're doing it. So we're going to back up, and luckily I had the turbo so I could get back into safety as much as I could. And get the tracking shot of the Lova, and we're going to just keep, you know, trying to use these ridges. This thing lives on ridges, just like the, I guess just like the Emils, I suppose. It's very similar, but again, these guys, the only reason this push, like, I would be dead. They would be running right through me right now if it was just me, but thankfully I have like 3 or 4 teammates with me that are all shooting things, because I'm still waiting for this reload. Like, I can't eat a Moushin fast enough for this guy to not just W key through me, because the DPM is just so horrendously bad, and God forbid you miss a shot, then it's even worse. So now that push has been kind of stifled, we're going to go back to our original position, and you'll notice we haven't really moved a whole lot in this entire game, because, you know, we just haven't had to. I picked this map because I knew that this would be the best case scenario. You wouldn't need to move a lot to find the little ridges and bushes and hillsides and so on. And yeah, because the mobility is not the strong suit of this tank. But you can see I'm trying to find a shot on the turret of this E50, and I just can't quite get it there. But we're going to back up, and now we're basically safe. There's nothing he can do to this at this point from our angle that we have on him. As long as we keep our turret toward the E50, there's nothing he can do. But you're seeing the final accuracy and the bloom. It makes it really hard. I kind of have to wait for... that one was on me. I guess I don't know. I thought I had the back of a turret or the side of a turret. I must have just messed it up. I think I had his mantlet. But one example, I guess that 3D skin is kind of throwing me off. And we noticed we have the T-30. He's caught out. The T-30 is caught out right now. He's backing up. He's out of position. He should have just stayed in that little divot. But I think he realized that that was also a bad play. And they're shooting our gun and knocking it out and stuff. But like, even that, like a normal tank with better DPM would have gotten 3 shots into that T-30 as he was backing up, but we could only get 2. And so just, you know, again, I'm just trying to drive home we've racked up 3,600 damage, but that's basically because people have just kind of run out in front of us and kind of made it easy, and we have friends around to support us. But in a lot of other situations that are very similar to this would not be going as well as it is. And we're going to try to sneak... Okay, T-30's dead, so we'll go over the hill, finish off the T-10, you know, 4,200 damage, 1 kill, and now we're just going to wait for our shot. Wait for the reload to finally reload. Oh my god. And we get a last shot into E50 before everything explodes. So you can see, and again, I'm just trying to drive home, like, yes, this was a pretty good game, but they're not all like this, and this game really played to its strengths. Luckily, we could control the pace of the engagement, and those guys were willing to just sit there and eat the shots. Alright, so at the end of the game, we ended up taking home 4,576 damage and 715, I believe maybe that was tracking or spotting, just assistance damage. We got a steel wall because all we showed our enemies was our turret, basically. And that was an ace tanker. And at the end there, that was 1,499 base XP. And yeah, at the end of the game, I think we ended up also even taking home some credits. We made the total, like, before taxes, I like to call it, before taxes was 134,000 credits. You know, we did a lot of damage there. Unfortunately, because we shot almost exclusively gold and I had a bunch of premium consumables and so on and so forth, we only took home 33,000 credits, so not a lot. But again, you know, a lot of those rounds probably would have gone in with standard rounds, but I've just, like, the reload was so long that I didn't feel like it was worth it. Like, if you pick the wrong shell, you have like 14 seconds to think about why you missed that shot. It's just not worth it. So I didn't want to mess around, and I wanted to show you guys a good game, and so this is what happened. So anyways, that is the tank, and that's the replay. Hopefully this will help you decide. I do not recommend that you guys try to chase the tank in the holiday boxes. You know, buy the boxes for the time, or the gold and the credits and the premium time. But if you're trying to chase tanks, you're gonna have a bad time. They're gonna sell the tanks in 6 months, just like they always do. So don't throw the money, you know, don't throw your wallet at the screen trying to get tanks now, because you might end up disappointed. So, alrighty, that's gonna do it for me, guys. I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.